Welcome to this session on parts lists in BricsCAD Mechanical versus data extraction in BricsCAD Pro. I'm Callum Price, Technical Marketing Specialist for BricsCAD Mechanical. In this breakout, we'll build a parts list for a valve assembly. BricsCAD gives us two ways to do it: attributes and data extraction in Pro, or part references and associative parts lists in Mechanical. We'll walk through both step by step, compare the results, and show why Mechanical is the logical option for accuracy, efficiency, and risk reduction. Setting up in BricsCAD Pro starts by opening each block in the block editor. Inside, I have to define the attributes, one by one, to build the attribute set. Even if I copy the set between blocks, every block still has to be opened and updated individually. Once that's done, I then use the attribute editor on each block instance in the drawing to fill in the values. BricsCAD does include attribute sync, which synchronizes attribute definitions across copies of the same block. But because we don't have repeated instances here, attribute sync doesn't apply. In BricsCAD Mechanical, it's a one-command process. I attach the part reference directly to the block, select from a set of standard or custom fields, and fill in the values once per part. Every part reference shares the same consistent structure, so the data is immediately ready for the parts list. Back in Pro, with the attribute data in place, I use the data extraction command to build the table. The wizard is powerful, but takes careful setup. I have to work through several stages to pick the right blocks, select the attributes to include, and format how the data appears. Before finishing, I enable the data link option, so the table stays connected to the drawing data. Using data link update, I can refresh existing values, but new parts or changes to the attribute structure still require rerunning the extraction. In BricsCAD Mechanical, I configure my parts list in AM BOM settings using the same clear, familiar dialog as part references. I can choose from both standard and custom fields, keeping everything consistent. Then I run the part list command, where all part references are listed. From there, I can adjust both the formatting of the table and the properties of the parts themselves before placing the list in the drawing. Creating balloons in Pro requires creating a new style in the MLeader Style Manager with a circular head. Once created, the new style needs to be selected in the manager before using the MLeader command to place the balloon. The balloons are not linked to the table, so must be numbered manually, and therefore any changes must also be done manually. In Mechanical, I use the AM Balloon tool. Balloons are created directly from the part list, automatically numbered and always consistent with the table. It's a dedicated, associative tool designed for this job. When adding a new part in Pro, I repeat the setup process from the start of this breakout, opening the block in block editor, pasting in the attribute set, and filling in the values using the attribute editor. It's a manual process that takes time to repeat for each new component. I also then have to rerun the data extraction wizard to rebuild the table, since data link update can't include new parts or attributes. Finally, I use the MLeader command to manually place a new balloon and update the numbering manually. When I add a new part in Mechanical, I simply attach a new part reference to it and fill in its fields. The part appears in the part list automatically, no wizard required. When I balloon the part with AM Balloon, it pulls the correct number directly from the parts list. If numbering changes, all balloons update automatically. The data, the list, and the balloons are fully associative, so adding new parts doesn't create extra work. In BricsCAD Mechanical V26, there is now a feature to select parts in the part list and directly zoom in and highlight them. I can navigate through the parts via the command line, making assembly part navigation effortless. To wrap up, in this example, BricsCAD Mechanical was over 50% faster in completing the overall workflow. With fully associative parts list, part references, and balloons, BricsCAD Mechanical ensures effortless scalability in assemblies. Incorporating new parts into the parts list takes over 70% fewer steps than in BricsCAD Pro. And it's not just about speed. This increases accuracy too. So if you're a manufacturer working with 2D assemblies, BricsCAD Mechanical is the logical choice for fast, efficient, and accurate parts lists.